3 companies, 5 roles. On paper, I was a success, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And I just felt like I always had more to give. So guys, we're changing up the type of video today, and I'm gonna give you a little bit more insight into who I am and my experience and what landed me to learn how to code in 2025 instead of doing an MBA. And I'd been dwelling on doing an MBA for like 5 years since I came out of uni with my bachelor's degree. Okay, so let's start there. So I studied finance economics and also Mandarin. I create Xiaohongshu videos if you are in the US and migrated to Xiaohongshu, the Chinese TikTok platform when TikTok was intermittently banned. You could definitely follow me on there. That's a little creative outlet for mine. But basically, I came out of uni, I went straight into a financy type role. It wasn't for me. 3 months later, I landed myself a Scrum Master job. Phenomenal role. If you haven't heard what Scrum Mastering is, it's basically the facilitator of the agile ceremonies and the agile principles in a software development team. So if you don't know, most software developers at big companies, you're going to use the Atlassian suite, you're going to use Jira, and the Scrum Master is usually the administrator of Jira. So you do everything from facilitating sprint planning to retros to also writing user stories. I did a bit of BA work because we were a bit of a smaller team than a big like built out team. I Scrum Master across a few teams and a data team actually. So that was great experience early in my career. I'm definitely going to do a few agile focused series. Given if you're learning how to code and you're trying to land a job in coding, then you're going to need to know agile or at least how to read user stories so you can write the code, right? So I'll do a few series on that coming up. And then, so basically they promoted me into a PM role, a junior PM product manager role. And that was phenomenal. I worked with some amazing developers, the same developers that I was working with when I was a Scrum Master, and a small knit product team, which was amazing. It gave me really good strategic experience into how to drive customer decisions and, customer first, fail fast, try different things, A/B testing, etc. And then 12 months later, I got an offer from a competitor, the big competitor, and I took it. And so I went into a less technical role, which then I did for a year or so. And then I transitioned actually back into a more technical role, but more strategic, what you call an optimization manager. And so that was great experience. And like I said, on paper, I was a success. Like on paper, you would have been like, you're crazy to resign. But I decided to resign and here I am 5 months on and I have never been happier. Okay, so let's get into why I decided to learn how to code. So I feel like coding, I'm going to break it down into 3 points, but I'm first just going to give you a little bit of a descriptor. I feel like coding is amazing because you don't need a degree. Like anyone can learn how to code. You're a barista. I can teach you how to code if you've got the willingness to learn. And yes, it's going to be more difficult than doing an MBA without a doubt, but it's so rewarding. Okay, so for me, it's 3 main points that live in my head about why I'm going through this, working 7 days a week, working all these hours, still loving life, but why are we going through this? So I feel like it's so powerful. The fact that I could have an idea, for example, I was walking this morning, I could have an idea, and when I have the skills, back-end skills, I could turn that idea into reality in a weekend, right? That is so powerful. And I feel like it's inherent. This is the second point. Coding is such a future-proof skill. In the world of AI, in the world that we're living in today, having technical skills, no matter if you're a CEO or a manager or just an individual contributor, learning how to code or at least having technical knowledge is so important. I know it firsthand. I was a Scrum Master. I didn't know how to code. I'm in technical meetings, and anyone I worked with in the past, please skip this section. I'm in technical meetings making decisions. I have no idea what's going on. We're talking about server-side, client-side code, and we need to ship that and technical debt. I had no idea what was going on. And I feel like that's so powerful now that I could step into any room with most, anyone's technical knowledge, if they're talking in layman's terms, and actually at least understand most of what's being said. I'm going to understand what they're saying. And that's powerful. And the third being that entrepreneurial leverage. So in the past 5 months, let's just talk through what I've been able to learn, right? I've been able to learn how to set up my Sony ZV-E10 and edit in DaVinci. I've been able to learn CapCut, lighting, Figma, coding, obviously. Like we're covering 3 languages at the moment, but many more to come. And version management, yada yada. I'll get a bit more into my coding journey, but I feel like that entrepreneurial leverage that you have with that future-proof skill, the fact that you can turn any idea into reality, like phenomenal. Like the sky is the limit. Like in the corporate world, or at least I felt like there was always a ceiling and I was always being driven into certain decisions or yada yada. Like now I'm making my own decisions. I decided that to solidify my learning, I need to create content for you guys, and that's why I'm here today, right? And I love it. It's so exciting. Okay, so that's a little bit about like why I learned to code. And let me talk you through my journey quickly. I see that my SD card is about to run out. I probably need to get a bigger SD card because I've only got 64 gig on this one. I see I've got 5 minutes, but let's keep it moving. Okay, so coding journey so far, we're 5 months in and 2 weeks. Like I literally started on the 30th of December. I'm posting this video the 20th of May. And let's talk through. So I'm following the full stack roadmap on that roadmaps website. If you know, you know. I'll put the link in the description. If you don't know, you should know. It's basically like tells you how to be a developer. So we obviously covered HTML and CSS, and I spent way too long in hindsight trying to learn everything about that, because the fact of the matter is like now I'm coding in React, and like I'll just never really use any in-depth vanilla CSS because I'm using UI libraries, right? Okay, so HTML, CSS, and then I covered a little bit of JavaScript, but before I did that, I needed to cover NPM or Node Package Manager, which you get when you install Node.js, which is a server-side technology, but NPM. And then through JavaScript and React, right? And I'm working with a few different libraries. So that's my coding journey. Okay, so what am I doing now? And like, let me give you a bit more insight into like what I'm actually doing, right? So I'm obviously creating content for you guys on YouTube. I've transitioned off TikTok for now, as I just need to focus on learning at a faster rate and focusing my time in not creating content, like creating content for you guys, obviously, but not creating like creative content. Like I'm not trying to go viral. I'm trying to teach you guys and solidify my learning, right? And I'm also working on a startup. So I have mentioned it briefly in a few of my videos, but I'm working with 3 other founders and it's super exciting. I've been contributing from a React like front end perspective. We obviously have a database and everything, and I can see that, but I can't really edit it. So that's like a future state me. But it's been really helpful from a learning perspective in terms of like I'm doing everything from the user story creation to the designs to the like all the front end planning and sequencing, but also for my development skills, because the version management, for example, 2 days ago, I created a PR or a pull request to main or my main branch, and I broke the build, and I had no idea, like I obviously didn't mean to, but we're using the free tier of GitHub, and obviously I would have broke the build. Like you can revert back to an older version, but it's been so helpful for me from a version management perspective, the startup, and obviously the end-to-end product. We've got a proof of concept ready to go. So I'm spending quite a lot of my time there. But yeah, in terms of like, I guess the 3 pillars of my life at the moment are learning coding is the number 1 pillar. My startup, very important. And then sharing content with you guys and networking, because I am aware that I need to learn off other people, and YouTube is a great place for that. But also I'm based out of Perth, so the local Perth community, I'm starting to get into the tech experience here. Let me give you my key takeaways, right? Would doing an MBA have been easier than doing what I've been doing for the last 5 months? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But do I regret the decisions that I've made and where I've progressed to? Absolutely not. So let this be your sign if you've been wanting to learn how to code, or at least wanting to understand what's going on in those technical meetings. This is your sign that I can help you. So subscribe if you want to follow me on my journey. I'm very active in the comments, and I feel like I'm starting to build a community already with like 7 videos live. But I really hope to be able to bridge that gap, because I've been there. Like, it's not easy if you're a non-technical person and you're in a technical meeting, or if you're a technical person in a strategic meeting, you're like, sorry, what is going on? So Love you guys. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in my next tutorial style video, because I am aware we need to get that Chakra UI dev website, keep it moving. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.